I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Stephanie Drake. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
It's been a great evening so far.
Great pleasure to connect with you, Stephanie. What part of the world are you in right now?
Charleston, South Carolina in the U.S.
Oh, sweet. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
So I'm a storyteller and I come alongside nonprofits and businesses to tell their stories. And as part of that, I have a business coach to help me tell my own story. And she recommended I connect with you.
Ooh. Do you want to say her name, or would you like to keep it a secret?
No, I'll say it. Yeah, it's Hillary Johnson. She runs Hatch Tribe. It's just an awesome organization for women entrepreneurs.
There we go. Hey, Hillary. Thanks for connecting us. That's great. So tell us more about how you do what you do, please.
Absolutely. I'm a communications person by training. And I worked in the U.S. government and on political campaigns. And after all that was done, I wanted to do something with purpose. So I started to work with nonprofits. I spent some time in East Africa working on democracy and governance with women who are running for office. And then when I got married and moved to Charleston, decided to go and run my own business and come alongside other organizations and empower them to tell their story better.
Now, there's one element missing right there, and it's in your bio picture. Well, they are in your bio picture. Yeah.
Yes. So I've got twin girls.
Wow.
They keep me on my toes. They are awesome and so much fun, but literally make me lose my hair at times.
I can well imagine. So if you look around your past and even now to your future, who did you learn the skills of communication from?
I would say from my grandmother, my dad's mom. She was the matriarch of the family, and she just did such a great job at caring for others and listening. And then from mentors that I had along the way, people who just gave me an opportunity and believed in me and connected with me with opportunities. They've truly inspired me to make sure that I look out for others around me and help me to pursue my dream.
At what point did you arc off to the point where you said, okay, I'm going to do this particular thing now?
I think it was when I was in high school or secondary school, when I was on the debate team, and I just loved presenting. I was very shy and very nerdy and loved books, but at the same time, the ability to present and win an argument was really fun for me. And so that sort of set me on the trajectory to get involved in politics and government and learn about communications. And here we are.
Here we are. Now, there are definitely the ups and downs that journey must have had. Why will you, and will continue to have, why will you continue to repeat the skill of communication nevertheless?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to continue to grow in this field and learn as much as I can, because everyone has a story to tell. And every time you interact with somebody else, you're part of their story and they're part of yours. So I think it helps us learn to listen and to understand and to be more kind and gracious to people. And that's the most important thing we can do.
Love it. Well, Stephanie, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
The last 3 years have been very crazy and busy, but the one thing that I have done consistently is I pray every day.
How does that make you feel?
It does give me a peace. Just resets my priorities for the day and makes myself, have grace if I don't get something done, and grace with other people.
So you're a hard pusher, aren't you? Like, you push yourself really hard, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, too much so.
Yeah. So just to someone out there, someone that maybe that person who makes sure they're on the ball and they're doing the work that's necessary, why they should do what you've done by creating that space to pray, to give yourself grace.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that quiet time in the day, because we're so connected now through our phones and the television, and it's just so important to take take that quiet space and to reflect. And that's how we truly learn and grow and become a better version of ourselves.
Now, if I wanted to learn how to tell my story better, or even to inquire about how you run what you run, where's the best place for me to connect with that?
Absolutely. I have a website. It's called DrakeStrategies.com. We're also on all the social media handles at Drake Strategies.
Love it. Well, amazing audience, you're hearing it live from Stefani Drake. And now, Stefani, I'd like to switch gears and ask you to come into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Stephanie, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest memory is of the lilacs that grew on my mom and dad's fence at our first home that we lived in.
Ooh, how old do you think you were?
I probably was 3 or 4. I was pretty young.
Why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
Yeah. I think it's so clear because it involves so many of the senses. I could touch the lilacs, I could smell them, I could see them. So incorporating all the senses is definitely burned into my memory. And I guess it shapes me today because it brings me back to my roots. It brings me back to the simple, joyous start that I have. It reminds me of what's really important.
Love it. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Absolutely.
I love the idea of the beauty that exists with the lilacs. Of course, there was a process for that, right? And then what you were seeing is the fruit of that process, which is a flower, right? Which is also another process. But what I do love is the fact of the matter of the fence being there. The thing that's necessary to protect the flower, the thing that's necessary to support the flower. And I think it's so important to understand that as we grow ourselves to become such a flower, that there are boundaries that are necessary to protect us, to support us, to ensure that we are able to blossom again.
That is beautiful. I love that. I love that idea of how boundaries are important for growth. It's something that I need to do more in my life. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's so relevant to me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
My favorite, and I don't even remember who sings it, but my favorite song from when I was 12 was Whoop, There It Is.
To be honest, right? Like after I was, well, not to be honest, because I always attempt to be honest, right? So
yes.
But just after I said it, it was like I felt like whoop, there it is.
Yes, it just sticks with you. I still love that song.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, my friend. Well, we now have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Stephanie?
Yes.
Stephanie, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, I have.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Probably 3 hours a week is about right.
What about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Probably right around 8 hours a day.
Stephanie, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I said, whoop, there it is. I created a workbook, and the name of that workbook is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And the idea is you answer questions similar to these in your personal space, right? But hopefully to uncover your own unique real statement. Yours again. If you, Stephanie, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Stephanie Drake's, what would you say that is?
I would say shine on.
Love it. Stephanie, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think just give yourself grace. Know that we're all cheering you on. And if you cheer somebody else on, it's going to make your day even better.
And there we go. Stephanie Drake, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-minute convos or less with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for being on 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.